Hey everyone, Luke here from Bedford Camera and Video, and I am super excited that we have the Canon C70. So we're going to do an unboxing and go through a lot of the features and specs of what this camera can actually do. So first off, we're going to open this up. We've got, of course, all of our paperwork. Got a battery charger, camera strap. Looks like the top handle. Let's do this. Looks like this is going to be the camera body itself, which is a really great form factor, to be completely honest. Looks like the AC power and the battery charger cable. We've got the microphone shock mount and the Canon battery. Also got a few different little accessories and hardware aspect. So now that we've got all of these components out, let's kind of start breaking them down. So of course you've got the camera body itself. This is going to be the AC charger, the AC power supply, I apologize. You've got the cable, the power cable for the wall outlet, but then you can utilize this as an AC power supply for the camera, or you can plug it into the battery charger itself to charge the Canon battery. Of course, you've got your camera strap. This is going to be your shock mount for the microphone that you can put on the top handle with the mounting screws. Make sure you don't lose those. Okay. So this camera is going to be utilizing the Canon BPA30 battery, which is really great because it's a fantastic battery as far as capacity, but also how light it is in comparison to like a V-mount battery or a gold mount battery. Looks like we've got the top handle here. So what I want to do now is go ahead and put the battery in, get it set up, and let's start talking about what this camera is actually capable of. So now that we have the Canon C70 fully assembled, let's go ahead and walk through some of the features that this camera actually holds. For example, the first thing that you'll notice is the build. So this is a really cool camera because it is a dedicated cinema camera, but it's built very similar to even like a 1DX Mark III or a kind of a combination of a 1DX series and like an R5 series. So it has the same type of feel that you would get with a 1DX. It's just going to be slightly thicker because of the screen, the battery, and the type of audio controls that you're going to have on the back of this. So let's kind of walk through some of the external features first. So on the top, you're going to have your on-off switch, as well as a locking mode and everything here. Now, the great thing about this camera as far as functionality is because it has 13 programmable buttons, you can really customize this camera to fit the needs that you have. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take this top handle off just so that we can see a few more things. On top of those 13 programmable buttons, you also have the capability of utilizing 3 control dials for controlling your picture settings. You'll have one at the top near your index finger, one on the side, or it's on the back but close to the edge of the camera, for your thumb, as well as the traditional scroll wheel that you would see on a 1DX Mark III. This camera, in comparison to the size, is just like that 1DX/R5 type of camera body. Now, the great thing about this camera, because it is a cinema camera, those of you that are shooting a DSLR or a mirrorless system may have a little bit of heat dispersion issues. This is an actual cinema camera, so you don't have to worry about that. You will actually have an air intake vent here as well as air output here, so it pulls air constantly through the camera to make sure that this camera will not overheat on you. Now, moving to the back side of this, you're going to have a control D-pad so that you can easily access menu functions as well as autofocus points. You have the LCD, which is a very angle LCD, and it is touchscreen. So you have a great versatility with this LCD screen. Of course, the battery will attach on the back side of this, and you have your DC port. So if you're wanting to shoot in studio or on location for a long period of time, you have the capability of either swapping batteries or utilizing that DC input. Now, behind the LCD screen is where you're going to have all of your audio controls. Each control is going to be dedicated per XLR jack. Now, for those of you that are wanting to know more about the audio side of it, this does feature 2 audio inputs, and they are the mini XLRs. So a lot of you may have microphones that have a traditional XLR. They make adapters for that fairly simply. Now, on this side of it, you do have the vent, like I said, for the air intake, but you also have a slew of different buttons and controls and ports here. So you have your 2 mini XLR inputs. You're going to have an ND filter. So this camera actually has built-in ND filters up to 10 stops. So no matter what lens you're utilizing, you can still have up to 10 stops of ND on this camera. Now, you also have your white balance and picture settings, but you have your a 3.5 millimeter mic jack as well. So you have the 2 XLR or mini XLR inputs and the 3.5 millimeter jack, and it is USB-C. Now, you are also going to have a remote capability for a link control system, and one of my favorite features on this as far as the ports go is the fact that it features a full HDMI input. Now, on this side of it, you're going to have these 4 buttons, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, these 4 buttons are programmable, but they also have other features as well, such as this is going to be your peaking, your display, your zebra, and your waveforms. Now, you can program those to other things if you'd like. Now, on the front of the camera, this features an RF mount. The Canon C70 is actually the first cinema camera from Canon to feature their new RF mount. It also has 2 more programmable buttons down here, 11 and 12, for ease of use and customization. And then on the front side here, you'll notice that there's actually a door, and this door is going to be where you insert your 2 SD cards. So the Canon C70 features 2 UHS-II SD card slots. Now, why is that super important? It's so that you can actually do, 1, all of your internal recording, but 2, you can actually do a proxy recording as well. So if you have camera or card slot 1 recording your full resolution 4K 120, you can also simultaneously record proxies for a faster editing process. A couple of other features is you can do a tandem write, so that you can actually write all of the information to both cards at the same time, or an overflow feature, so that when you fill up the card slot 1, it'll automatically switch to card slot 2. Underneath that though, you have another port, and this is going to be for your timecode. So you can actually sync this to other cameras to make sure that this is going to fit in perfectly in your timeline. Now, a really cool thing about the C70 is how many rigging points it has. It has 1 on the top through the cold shoe mount, 1 on the side, and 3 on the bottom. This will allow you to really attach any accessory or items that you may have securely to this camera. Now, a cool feature about this camera is the fact that On the side, it does have that quarter 20 mount. You can actually mount this vertically, and when you do that, the LCD screen will actually mimic and go to a vertical shooting mode as well, just like you would get on possibly an R5 or a mirrorless system. Another great feature about this LCD screen is the direct touch control, which means you can actually control all of the settings of this camera, whether it's your shutter speed, your ISO, or your white balance, directly from the LCD screen without having to go through menu systems, just like some other pro cinema cameras that you may have used. Now, let's really start talking about what is inside of this camera, because this camera is fantastic for a variety of different users. One, it is approved for Netflix, so that's a huge bonus there. It has a Super35 sensor on it that will allow for up to 4K 120 frames a second recording. Now, another really cool feature about this camera is the fact that it has DGO, which is a dual gain output sensor. What DGO means is that at ISO 800 and 2000, there will be the same amount of noise in your image. Now, that allows you to have a much better capability of low light shooting. Now, with this camera, you can utilize C-Log 1, 2, and 3, and in C-Log 2, it boasts up to 16 plus stops of dynamic range, which is incredible for a camera that actually isn't shooting RAW. Now, with this, you do get a 4K 120, but you can also get 10-bit 422 internally. You can also output that to an Atomos or an Odyssey recorder, but it is still that 422 10-bit. This camera features a Super35 sensor with an RF mount. Now, what that means is you can utilize any RF mount lens directly onto this camera. You can also utilize any EF mount with the EF to EOS R adapters, but there's another adapter that Canon has come out with this mount, and it's the focal reducing adapter. Now, what a focal reducing adapter does, it allows you to utilize a full frame EF lens to convert into a Super 35, which means that it will actually multiply that millimeter by 0.71, giving you a 50mm lens with a 50mm angle of view instead of a 1.5 crop. Now, you can either utilize that as a mount adapter to click in, or you can actually utilize these 4 screws on the mount itself to actually hard mount that adapter into this camera. So if you're utilizing EF lenses primarily, that may be a great way to make sure everything is nice, solid, and secure. Now, something about the C70 that you don't necessarily get with all cinema cameras is the fact that the C70 has autofocus, and it has face tracking as well as head tracking. Now, if you're familiar with the dual pixel autofocus system on the 1DX3 or the R5, this is going to be that same type of system. So you have face tracking, head tracking, as well as dual pixel autofocus with the Canon C70. All of this will be packed into a camera system that's just over 3 pounds. So you have a really light, very capable camera system right here. You can get all of this for just under $5,500. So if you want to add this to your bag, go ahead and visit us online at bedfords.com or visit your local store. I'm Luke from Bedford Camera and Video, and we'll catch you next time.